Good morning, everyone. It is almost 7 a.m. Eastern time on April 5th. The full moon is in a few hours in Aries, and I wanted to share this video with you and a little slideshow about what's happening in April. And I haven't been recording much. Anyway, I'll talk about that more as I go into the slides. So let me share my screen with you. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to do this. Okay, so I think that'll work. Okay, so here we are. Let me get rid of this stuff. All right, maybe I'll just do this first. Okay, here's the full moon chart. So here's the moon in Libra at 16 Libra. Here's the sun down here in Aries. Chiron is right next to it. Chiron's at 15 degrees. The sun is at 16 degrees. Jupiter is 20. And of course, Eris is here. She's been here for years now, toggling between 22, 23, 24 degrees. She's the goddess of discord and sister to Mars, and helping to shake up the status quo, the patriarchal patterning, to invite the wild and sacred feminine to the party. And she's doing a fantastic job. And Vesta is right here next to her. This is the goddess of the sacred hearth, keeping the fire lit in us, into our sacred hearth, our sacred homes, which can be our bodies, our sacred sexuality, and it's in a fire sign. So all of this Aries has got us really moving, right? Things are very different right now than they were a month ago. A month ago, we were like, oh, when are things going to pick up? When's the energy going to start going? Aries, Mercury was in Pisces. That was very slow. That was also in Aries. It's just moved into Taurus a couple days ago. And so that's kind of helping kind of slow things down a little bit, or ground things, because it's been pretty fast moving. It's been a really fast pace. So this Chiron here is the sacred wound. And it's in the sign of Aries, which is the sign of the masculine. This is like our confidence. And Aries is about putting yourself out there, being pioneer, being very bold, being the warrior, willing to go where angels fear to tread. That's one saying, although to me, angels will go anywhere. And it's been conjunct Jupiter, which is all about the expansion, right? Jupiter is all about expansion. So there's been a lot of inflamed energy, which can be really positive, right? You can harness that and use it. So there's been a lot of inspiration, all this fire, very inspiring energy. And so with this conjunction here, there could be a sense of like feeling inspired, ready to go, but also maybe not having the full confidence to move forward, or the full clarity about what we're wanting. So that it all always depends on where we each are and what we're navigating and working with. Everyone's at a different level of consciousness, a different pace of embracing their lives and what's in front of them. So we were like in the Pisces season. Now we've been in Aries season, and we have a lot more to go in Aries season before it's complete, because we have an eclipse coming, and that's very powerful. So before I go there, so here with the moon, right? So we're at a full moon. So what happens is we have the new moon, and then the moon moves around, and we have what we call the first quarter moon. So that was when the moon was in Cancer. That was like maybe a week ago. And then we go to the full moon, which is where we are now. And then in a week from now, we'll have the third quarter moon when the moon moves into Capricorn, because we're in these cardinal signs. And then the next season will bring that new moon solar eclipse on the 21st, no, the 20th of April. Okay, real early in the morning on the East Coast anyway, or in the USA. So I'll get to that. So the reason why I said all that, so the new moon, you plant seeds, the things you want to bring forward. And the full moon is where the fruit comes, where the abundance comes forward from what you planted in the new moon. So let me just turn this volume up. Yeah, it's up. Okay. And so you're probably seeing lots of activity right now, right? Because all that Aries, all of that fire is like, wow, there's all this movement and inspiration. So maybe you've started something new, or you're embracing something, or you're coming to the realization, especially because we're moving towards the eclipse. What's maybe not working? What is it that you were starting and initiating that's not really fulfilling you, that is not bringing you what you were hoping for? And you're in this place of release. So maybe this full moon is bringing the clarity of that. So anyway, it's a time of fullness. The moon in Libra wants peace and social activity and beauty and lightness and justice. It's a very fun social moon. My alarm is going off in the other room. Anyway, I don't usually use one, but today I set it anyway. So let's see. With all of the geopolitical activity and all of that, there can be a lot of inflamed energy. So what I got the other day, and if I had been home, I would have written something up about it, was there's so much drama on the collective level happening that we have to go to the deeper ground to really harness the sacredness of life, the sacredness of who we are, the sacredness of our path. And, I went to massage school in 1994, and I started getting massage in like 1990, maybe 91, but no, actually 1990. And I really got into Native American music and flute music and Carlos Nakai, and I saw him a couple times in concert. And one of my really close friends is from the White Earth Reservation, and I've always had these Native people in my life. They always like weave in and out of my life. And I have the South Node in Sagittarius, which is like indigenous cultures, or can be associated with indigenous culture. So my soul has that energy pathway in it. And then all the healers that I met, most of them studied with like Brook Medicine Eagle or some Native American teacher and or Buddhist teacher. So what I learned from that, and also like I had these moccasins, I used to wear them. I still have them. They're beaded with the eagle on the front, and I wore them everywhere from the time I was like 13 till, I don't know, 18, 19. I walked a lot, and they have really hard soles from walking all over the place, but they grounded me somehow. They connected me to the earth. And what I got the other day, I put on some of that music and I was listening to it, and then this powwow music came on of the chanting, and it just, there's so much intensity on the surface. So sometimes we just have to go down to that lower realm, to the deeper realm where things are happening and moving, like all of the bulbs and the plants that are starting to come up at spring. It's all because there's something going on underneath, right? There's all this earth and groundedness to help us handle the fire and the changes of now, because there's so much happening. And we're kind of in for a big ride in April and into May. So I encourage you to embrace that, and maybe I'll share a link to some of that music to just listen to it and allow yourself to receive it, and even just meditate with it, and just go down through your chakras, go down into the earth, connect with like the mucilin and the fungi and the roots of the trees and all of the richness and knowledge that's there for us. And I'm going to go spend some time in the woods. I can feel it just talking. That's what I need to do. I've been very full with lots of animals, taking care of lots of animals and communicating and working and moving a lot, right? All this areas we're moving. There's all this energy to shift now. So can you believe now the dryer is going off? All these things, it's so funny. I'm going to ignore it because I'm going to get distracted if I, all right, let's just let me switch this. So, yeah, I'm not going to go into like all of the details of this. I just wanted to give you like the general overview, the full moon. If there's something that you want to release, it's good to have a ritual, write it out, burn it, have some ritual with water, write it out, right? Libra is an air sign, write it out, communicate it. Maybe you need to communicate something about a relationship, because Libra, Aries is the relationship pathway, right? It's the relationship axis. So Aries needs me time. I need to focus on me, and Libra wants connection. So how do I balance? And it's also about listening to each other, right? Because Aries can get very, very self-centered if it doesn't take care of itself and set its boundaries, because it's following instinct. It's like, I have to go this way and fulfill this. I can't help it. It's like, I have to follow that gut feeling, that instinct. And Libra is saying, I need to connect. I need to spend time with you. So there's that. All right, I'm going to be right back. I'm going to go turn this stuff off. Okay, that's much better. I don't think I could have sat through more of that. All right, let me share with you these slides that I made. Okay, so this is a little bit about April. So April 3rd, Mercury moved into Taurus. I had mentioned it was in Aries. Now it's in Taurus. It's like kind of slows things down. Mercury is about trade also, right? And Taurus is about commodities, and this is, about food and trucks that bring our food and like all of those things. So then April 6th, we have the full moon in Libra, which is today. And let me just see what that says here. It's exact at 12:35 a.m. tonight, right? So that can't be right. what's today? Yeah, tomorrow morning or tonight, right? So we have all day today, the 5th, building up to this full moon. And it's already been there, but it's like big energy. And then on the 11th, Venus moves into Gemini. Venus has been in Taurus, really earthy. Venus loves being in Taurus. And it tends to have a lot to do with money and finances. And so if you have some Earth planets, it's a really good energy, brings money your way. Then we have the solar eclipse on the 20th in Aries. I'll go into that. Mercury goes into retrograde the next day. And then 2 days after that, we have the Venus gate in Gemini. So let's just see. Okay. So I just wanted to remind everybody here, like, we're really in new territory, right? We have all this mega Aries inspiration, which I mentioned. Pluto now is in Aquarius until June, early June. And Saturn is now in Pisces, which is very different. All of us who have the fixed signs, especially in the later degrees of the fixed signs, we are breathing a big sigh of relief because Saturn is off of our planets. It's a very heavy energy to have. But if you have early degrees of the mutable signs, then you're dealing with Saturn. Again, it's just in a different way. It's a different element, right? Because it's in the water sign now. It's out of that heavy Aquarius Saturn energy. I mean, Aquarius isn't really so heavy, but Saturn, it's the ruler, the ancient ruler. Anyway, we've had a lot of Saturn for a long time. So now we're kind of shifting out of that. And we're in the heart chakra gate, the Venus heart chakra gate. So there's a lot of energy in the heart chakra. And so and now all that Aries really helps, right? Fire is related to the heart chakra. So just from an elemental perspective. Okay, so for the Aquarius piece, I put this on here. I saw this on Facebook, the divide and conquer. Let's cross that out and go to unite and prosper, because that's really what we need, right? We need more communities coming together and uniting in a positive way that's beneficial to everyone, not just a few, and not just from a domination, old war kind of pattern, which is divide and conquer. And, with all the energy with what's happening in Ukraine and Russia and China and all over, it's like, whoa, what is going to happen? And so that's kind of why I mentioned, like, connecting to that deeper, sacred, earthy place, because we're going to need all of the empowerment, the consciousness that we can hold to help us bring more and more abundance into the presence of now as we go through these big changes. So like I mentioned, lots of vital energy now to move forward. And at the same time, we're shifting into the eclipse season and Mercury retrograde. So I like this too. It's not about being in control. It's about being in alignment, right? So when we spend time with our cosmological knowledge and awareness and the earth and allow our bodies to be the vessel, then we are moving from a place of alignment more than a place of distraction or courting. There's a lot of that happens when we're learning how to be in the energy body and in alignment with it. We're those old patterns in our chakras, they're like hard drives in the computer, and you have to like defrag and unwind it. So if we aren't we're operating from the old patterns, which tend to be, oh, I have anxiety, I have this, whatever, but you're at peace. So somehow we like merge, which is a Pisces issue. We merge energetically, right? Empaths. It's an empath issue. You take on somebody else's energy, or they try to connect into yours, and then you're not in balance. So if you start having anxiety after you've been with somebody or around somebody, you know that that is more of like a courting entity kind of energy, and that pulls us out of alignment, right? So that feeling when we're in alignment, this bliss, right? So but we have to ground this so that we can like become the light and share. I read something so beautiful yesterday. I wanted to share that. I think it's on my phone. Anyway, maybe I'll just put it in the newsletter when I find it. Okay. So yeah, and I love this image that I got for the Venus gates. This is the new moon and the earth and the buds and the prayer and the body and the sky, and it's just so pretty. So, and we have this eclipse coming, right? We have 2 eclipses on the 20th of April and the 5th of May, and eclipses always bring endings and new beginnings. So the veil becomes very thin collectively, and there's an ending and a beginning. So we become more intuitive. Our animals become more intuitive. Some of them leave. I always get a lot of calls during eclipses for readings for animals all the time. So it's a big shifting time. And if there's something that you're not energized by, or that's not making your heart sing, eclipses are a really good time to release and let go, make the decision. Now, eclipses, it's not like something happens right that day. Sometimes it's true. It depends on how kind of far along you are in your own process of whatever you're working with. The general influence is 1 to 2 weeks, but really it's a 6-month influence. So the solar eclipse has to do with really something new that's very inspiring, a lot of energy, because we're talking about the sun, the solar eclipse. The lunar eclipse in the 2 weeks after that, it's more emotional content. It's more, it's heavier energy. Let's put it that way. And there's always, of course, the individual influence, the collective influence, the geopolitical influence, what's happening in the world, right? So there's all layers and all levels happening. Okay. So here's the new moon chart. So this is April 20th, 12:12 a.m., right? So Wednesday here in the States, it's the 19th. And so that evening, as like we're getting ready to go to bed, whatever, we're going to be right in that eclipse window. Now, remember, eclipses, retrogrades, all of that, they begin way before the actual event. So I'm already feeling this eclipse coming. So it builds and we can feel the energy shift. So it's kind of like being, to me, eclipses are very surreal. The energy is like, you walk outside, it's like, oh, everything's like really tangible and like alive somehow, like moving in like a watery realm, even though all eclipses are different based on the different signs. To me, there's more of, it's almost like you can see all of the unseen becomes very tangible. So, all right, here's the sun. So this eclipse is pretty intense because it's at 29 degrees Aries, and any time any transit or planetary influence that's at the end of a end of the end of a sign, it's at the most extreme of that sign, right? So Aries, we're talking about courage to do something new, bringing something forward, breaking free. You know, Aries is like taking the sword and cutting away a relationship that doesn't work, patterns that don't work. You know, Aries, it needs to separate. Like Mars is the ruling planet for Aries, and it's all about separating. It's outward. It's not a receiving sign. It's a forward sign. So it's really trying to complete something here. And it's in a square. It's in an almost, it's only 10 minutes away. No, that's not true. 19 plus 10. So it's 30 minutes away from the square to Pluto. So remember, Pluto was at 29 Capricorn. Now it's at 0 Aquarius, but all of this here is squaring. And the North Node is moving closer to Aries because it's going to shift into Aries Libra in July. Vesta is here with this North Node, and Mercury is now at 15 Taurus, and it's conjunct Uranus. So in a whole sign perspective, we would say all of this Taurus is happening together. All of this Libra is happening. I mean, Aries is happening together. And so because we are building towards this Mercury retrograde, and we're in the eclipse, because the retrograde is the next day, Mercury goes into retrograde, and the Mercury, let me just show you this here. The Mercury retrograde starts on the 21st, and it goes from 15 Taurus back to 5 Taurus, right? So it's going backwards now. And so it's getting ready to go back over all of this. Then the sun is going to cross over it. The moon's going to cross over it. And this is going to shake things up big time, this eclipse. So, you know, I think people can feel this impending energy around what's happening in Europe and what is happening around money. There's going to be more shakeup around the banks and money, from what I can tell. And so I would say, you know, make sure you have enough food for your animals, have some foods in your pantry, have stuff that you need, you know, because we are really in this major collective time where we're not sure of everything that's happening. So there's a lot of uncertainty is my point. And with Mercury going retrograde, it's going to really slow things down. And because it's in Taurus, that could have to do with food supplies and banking systems and all of that. So if you have money in the stock market, you should be consulting either a financial astrologer, which I would highly suggest, or you know, they always say keep your money in and all of that. I just don't know what's going to happen with that whole system, because we've been on the edge for so long and we've been pushing the envelope for so long that things really need to shift ultimately. And the ruler of all this Aries is over here, Mars and Cancer. It's squaring Chiron. It's actually moving towards an exact square to Chiron and Jupiter. Anyway, I'm not going to go into that much either. So anyway, this is a big shift here. And then okay, this is the Mercury retrograde. Mercury retrograde is a time for slowing down, and it's extra emphasized in Taurus. So, you know, if you have lots of big plans and travel plans and things you want to get done, just make sure that you include time to navigate life not on your terms, because it might not be on your terms unless you can get in the flow of Mercury retrograde. Now, I'm a Mercury retrograde person natally. I love it when Mercury goes into retrograde because the world slows down. It makes the world slow down. It makes everybody take a frickin' break. And here in the USA, they don't really say take a break. They just want you to go, 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 because we're on the patriarchal time clock. Well, Mercury retrograde says, no, we're going to be on the cosmic time clock. So if you can get in tune with the cosmic time clock, then, you know, all is well, really. And meaning you have to let go of your agendas or choose an agenda like writing, meditating, chilling out, getting a massage, taking it easy, going for a walk. I mean, maybe you still have to go to work. I don't know what everybody does with their lives, but, you know, traffic can always be a pain in the ass with Mercury retrograde or travel. So give yourself more time, take the back road, follow your intuition. You know, a lot of times if you're someone that's in tune, and you're at the stop sign and your intuition says go left and your mind says no, I'm going to go right. If you tune in and really listen and double check, your intuition's telling you to go left for a reason. So take the left. And even for me, like, you know, anybody that's doing intuitive work, a lot of times I'll double check because I really want to go right. I really want to take the right. And my guidance is going, no, go left, go left. So it's a good thing to follow that go left. Now, the shadow of Mercury retrograde begins on the 7th, which is only 2 days from now. So the shadow period means that right now, Mercury is almost to 15 degrees Taurus. And when it goes into retrograde, it goes all the way back to 5 Taurus. And then once it goes direct, which I forgot to put on here, we can look at that. It'll go direct, and then it will come out of the shadow period once it gets back to 15 Taurus. Because it's at 15 Taurus when it starts, it goes back to 5 degrees Taurus, then it goes direct to 15 Taurus. Then it's out of the shadow. So these are the shadow dates. So even though Mercury retrograde is over after 3 weeks of the retrograde time, it takes time for the planet to catch up, to get its speed back. And Mercury is very fast, but it still takes time for it to build its speed back up. And that's what it's doing as it's coming out of that shadow phase. So with Jupiter and Mercury and the North Node in Taurus, like I said, allow plenty of time, and especially with these eclipse influences happening at the same time. So that is all I have for today in this video. Let's look at, here's the eclipse. All right, so let's look at all this. Let's see. Okay, and then here's the Venus gate. Nope, that's the wrong gate. There it is. So the next Venus gate is April 23rd, and here it is in Gemini, right on the ascendant in the US. There's going to be a lot of opinions flying around. A lot of feelings going on, I would say. Yeah, and see, here's Mercury retrograde. So let me just go to, I'm not going to go into the Venus chart, I do want to say that it takes me like 6 hours to make these videos. And I uploaded everything onto YouTube last time because it's so much faster to upload the videos there. So I might continue doing that, but I kind of want to keep it simple and personal. So I'm going to encourage a membership, like $10 a month towards these talks, like twice a month talks, and that would be really helpful for me. I know there's a lot of free content out there. There's tons of astrology information. So anyway, it's I have to make a decision. This whole eclipse energy and this full moon, it's bringing it forward for me what to do about it, because then I have the Venus gate and the Venus immersion, and I need to give more time to that. And also to finish my Venus book and my animal work. Now, some of you know I'm an animal communicator. Some of you maybe don't know that, but I'm also working on some articles and a new ebook that's coming out. So anyway, I'll post a link to my animal website so you can check that out too if you have not seen it before. Okay, so here I want to show you. It's April 5th. Okay, here is Mercury, right? So we go forward a day to, there's Mercury at 5 degrees Taurus, right? So the shadow period begins here. Why? Okay, let me change this to a week, because in 1, 2, Mercury's in retrograde at 15 degrees. 1, 2, 3. Mercury's still in retrograde. It's May 12th. Let's change this back to a day. There it is at 5 degrees. It goes direct on the 15th of May. So you see, that's why the shadow period goes from 15 Taurus to 5 degrees Taurus. Now it's going to take 1, 2, almost 2 weeks. Let's see here, to get to 15, back to 15 Taurus. So by May 23rd, it's at 15 Taurus and out of the shadow. So I put June 1st, but so right around that time, then Mercury is completely out of the zone that it was retrograding in. So that's what I mean about the shadow period. So I am wishing you all a blessed full moon and a very mindful, grounded solar eclipse. Solar eclipse brings, big light energy. And I'll talk more about the lunar eclipse in the next video, because that's not until May. I'm going to be away for a little while, so I'm hoping to do it before I go away. And then yeah, so whatever you need to let go of, however you need to ground yourself, because just remember, right, we've been in this structure that's been built without the feminine. We've been in these concretized societal norms without the feminine being included. So think of the yin yang symbol and the yang being like having taken over that side, the other side, the yin side. It's dominating, it's holding it down. Well, that's not balance. And the earth and the world and nature and the cosmos, they all vibrate to balance. So that's why I left this 29 Libra. This is that Venus, new Venus star that came forward October 22nd last year of 2022. So it's going to have one more stint in Scorpio, and then it moves into Libra for the next 100 years. And this Libra wants balance. I mean, Libra can be the general, the war, Libras can be tough, actually. But Libra really wants beauty and balance and peace and equanimity and equality. And that we are building towards that. So remember, the cosmos are singing and dancing always. Let me see if I can find my let's see where it is. I don't know what I did with it. Anyway, here. No. These are I'm looking for my doesn't matter. It's okay. I was going to show you the Venus star. The cosmos are always vibrating. Every planet has an energetic pattern. Venus has that 5-pointed star pattern that's connected to the golden mean and pi and balance, and beauty. So if we can walk the beauty way, if we can live the beauty way, if we can spend some time in nature, on the planet, in our moccasins, whatever that may be, doing some earthing, it's going to help us navigate this teeter-tottering that is here, this square. This is intense. So, right, it's like disruption, a lot of disruption. It's birthing. Something is trying to birth forward that needs to come forward. And to help, right? Squares are conflict. And when we only have ease and grace, trines and sextiles, we don't really grow. We don't grow past our comfort zone because those are very comfortable, extremely comfortable. On a soul level, when we have these squares, when we have conflict, then we are at this first quarter phase of how do I begin? How do I make this change? It's like crisis in action, right? And so to help us birth forward this ingress, Pluto ingress into Aquarius, it's still very new. Everything that's happening right now at this 0 point is going to be very telling about the unfolding of its journey, entire journey through the Aquarius energy for the next 20 years. So, and because Pluto's going to go back to 29, 28, 27 Capricorn, we're going to be still dismantling these old patterns. So all that's kind of quaking right now and waking up is helping to shake us loose from that dominant power so that we can have more integration and balance, right? We need to have balance and have the feminine included so that she can help navigate the excess of the masculine energies, the excessive energies. So while those systems are breaking down, it could be a little uneasy under our feet. So the more we can cultivate that ground, and maybe that means having more security for yourself. It's different for everybody. For me, it always comes back down to grounding. If we can't go up and through and have ascension and have all this expansion if we don't have the ground. So I invite you to build into the ground so that your heart can expand and be the bridge between your lower chakras and your upper chakras. Otherwise, we're living in this solar plexus intensity, this tightness, this energy, and that doesn't serve anybody. And it serves as a protection, right? It's a protection. because underneath is all your power and vulnerability and empathy and sensitivity, right? A lot of us are very sensitive and we do all these things to cover it up. And there's healthier ways that we can do it. So that's my 2 cents for the navigating the current world events. Anyway, wishing you all a blessed day and life and full moon and solar eclipse and a Mercury retrograde. Enjoy.